Welcome to the Business and Bubbly podcast. This is the place for women in business who are on the journey of building their big ideas and want to have fun along the way. It's for those of us who also know we aren't meant to do business or life alone. Hi, I'm Charity Majors, your host and the founder of Business and Bubbly. Think of this kind of like the can I pick your brain chats that you've always wanted to have with those who are doing epic things, plus business besties, hype girls, and getting into massive action towards your next big idea all in the same place. Oh, and bubbles, because if you're not having fun along the way, you're not doing it right. Together, we'll unlock what it means to be seen, known, heard, and championed all along the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and being a woman in business building big dreams. Each week, I'll bring you a quick sip business tip as well as interviews from top experts that make you feel like you're getting bottle service for your business. We're having the raw and real conversations and chatting about all the things, the messy middle, the pivots, scaling, the good days and the bad days, because here we do real. It's where we can work hard, play hard, cry it out, and dance it out all at the same time without being judged. This is a place where we are in the arena together and we are each other's biggest fans because most of us have enough comments from the cheap seats. It's where our too much is par for the course and where the gaps of our not enough are filled in by the other epic women that are around us. It's where we can be unapologetic about the mission we are on, about the big dreams on our heart, and the business we are building without having to be perfect or have it all together, or even pretend to. It's a supportive community where business is being done amongst like-minded women because when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. It's a place where you have the support around you to get out of your comfort zone and go after your big ideas because even when you fail forward or when you reach the top, you know it won't be alone. Also, if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with creating platforms that lift up other women to be seen and heard and known. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite you to list your business on our directory called Find Women in Business. All you've got to do is text the word directory to 833-231-8098, and I'll text you the link back to get your free listing. This is also a great way to connect with other women in business from around the world, so definitely check it out. And now let's get to the good stuff. Grab a glass of your favorite beverage, Prosecco, bubbly water, or whatever your flavor is, and let's dive in. Are you with me? Here we go. Hello, friends. Welcome to the show where we have this special episode of Women to Know right here on Business and Bubbly. And these special episodes are really meant to highlight some of the incredible women that we have a part of our community. And this next woman is definitely one of those. So as I invite her on here, I am going to also read her joins. So we are going to get to hear from Erica Ulrich. She is first a Christ follower. Hey, Erica, I'm just reading your bio.
Hi.
So glad you're here. So Erica is first a Christ follower. She's wife to the most amazing man and mama to her three precious kiddos, ages 9, 6, and 4. She's passionate about setting an example for women to reject hustle culture and prioritize their calling in the home while still earning an impactful income. In business, she is proud to have had one of the fastest growing teams in the history of her network marketing company, scaling all the way to $5.5 million in monthly sales before deciding to take a radical leap of faith and build from the ground up with a different brand. 1 year into her transition, she's again breaking growth records and, more importantly, helping those she works with achieve their health and financial goals. In her free time, she runs the Mama Ministry at Capital Church. She serves on the PTA at her kiddos' schools. She raises backyard chickens and is taking barrel racing lessons. She always makes time to walk the greenbelt with her besties and date her man every Wednesday night. Meeting new friends is totally her jam. So if you see her around in person or on the IG, or this is going to be up on our podcast, so check the show notes for links. But don't hesitate to say hi to Erica. Erica, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to have this conversation to chat.
Oh my gosh, thank you for the opportunity. I love chatting with you. Every time we get together, I feel like we could talk for just like hours and hours. So this is going to be so fun.
Totally. It's the best. I love it. You're my people for sure. Well, so fun. So I love, obviously, people heard these amazing things that you're up to, which I love what you said, like kind of rejecting this hustle culture, like especially for us as women, as moms, because it can sound kind of selfish, but it's like we want it all. Like we want the impactful business, we want the income, we want the great family life, we want the the great relationships with our partners, with our friends, but which obviously you are working on and you have, but it wasn't always like that. And so I kind of want to like rewind in your story a little bit and just share a little bit about your backstory with those that are watching here on Instagram and then listening on the podcast.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Definitely was not always like that for sure. I do feel like every season brings its new surprises and challenges and then its new joys. And so we're in this wonderful season right now. Our kids are 9, 6, and 4. So if you have kids younger than that, like there is a day where they will be able to independently get a snack and wipe their own bottom. And it's a great day, but the little years are so precious and the older years are so precious. And there's just, like I said, there's new challenges and fun in every season. But rewinding 4 years ago, so when my youngest was first born, my husband and I were both working a lot. So he had 2 jobs. He is an engineer by trade. And so he worked as a manufacturing engineer for like a corporate company in the day. And then he also did that 1099 on the side at night. I was a property manager and I also had a photography business. And I, like you said, I love everything. I loved my property management career. I loved my photography business that I grew. It was so fun. I loved being a mom. I loved being a wife. I was thoroughly enjoying what I was doing, but what I was doing was burning me out. So it was kind of tough to find this balance of, I remember my husband telling me, well, don't take any more photography sessions on. I'm like, but I love that. I love doing that. So how do I find this balance? But I was definitely doing too much. I was homeschooling my kids and I was just exhausted, tired. I was finding my patience was just like really short. My health was not that great. I was just stressed. I could not be present in the moment, which is so not fun. As a mom, you want to look at your babies and just be enjoying what you're doing right now. So I accidentally fell into network marketing, which I think is funny. I think that's how most people probably find themselves there. I don't think most people write it on their vision board, I want to be the most successful network marketer ever, until they're in the industry and they're like, wow, this is actually where it's at. Network marketing, not because I was looking for a business, which I should have been, but because I was looking for non-toxic products. All 3 of my kids were born prematurely, and I was researching why that would happen. And just as I was discovering what happens in our environment when we have certain ingredients in our household and what we're using, I was trying to make wiser choices. And so I found a brand that had an ingredient policy that I could stand behind, and I just started telling other people about it. So I wish I could tell you, gosh, wow, I was so smart. Here, I prioritized my marriage. I reorganized everything. I didn't do that, you guys. I never was smart enough to take anything off my plate. I actually added something to it. But in doing so, I was able to understand what it means to scale a business. So instead of just working time for paycheck, which is what I had always done, including in my photography business that I loved so much, it was not a business that was scalable. It was a business that required all of me all the time. And so finding that scale and learning how to delegate and learning how to earn an income while I wasn't trading my time for it changed everything for us. I remember my very first goal when I started my business in network marketing was I want to be able to pay a babysitter so my husband and I can go on a date once a week. And I actually put that in my bio because that's so important to me. We went last night and I remember us getting in the car as we were leaving. And I'm like, we're so lucky that we get to do this, that every week we get to do this and see each other, have time together. And our marriage is so good. And I really think that's such a huge factor. We've been doing it for 4 years now, every single week. And so, yeah, how did I reprioritize? I learned to scale. And I learned that I can't do everything all the time, every day. There are seasons for things, and I need to say no to some things so I can say yes to the best things. So
good. Oh, so good. I love that. So maybe if someone they're listening to this or they're watching this on Instagram, they're listening to the podcast and they're like, oh man, okay, what are maybe the first steps that I can take in my business? Cause I'm, maybe they're seeing themselves in your story of I'm doing all the things, right? And, what was it that you were like, okay, this was the thing, for date night, this is the thing that I wanted to either get that extra income or make the priority for outsourcing, right? Because especially for us as women in business, we could outsource all the things, right? The date nights and the cleaning and the babysitting and the social media and the creating the graphics and the doing the website, all this stuff, right? So how were you able to choose your first things? And then what are what are some other things that you have chosen to delegate and outsource that have helped you scale?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think what's hard is that that's such a loaded question because in the beginning of the answer, you might not have the finances to outsource everything. And so it would be unfair to say well, yeah, you should get a maid and a babysitter and a VA and this and that. That's not a fair answer because day one, that isn't a reality. That wasn't a reality for me. Honestly, like I said, a babysitter once a week was not an option until I started to scale and earn this passive income. So what I would say, I think number one is prioritizing anything that enhances your family relationships. Honestly, your husband, your wife, your kids, that is the most important thing. You could scale this multi-million-dollar business, and if you damage those relationships in the process, who cares? You could be making every dollar that you've ever dreamed of, but it doesn't matter if those relationships are not where you need them to be. So I would say prioritizing anything first that serves those relationships. So if I had to go back and do it all over again, I would say even in our early years of marriage when we were not financially well off, I would have figured out how to hire a babysitter once a week or swapped with a friend once a week or done something so that once a week I could be with my husband. Has nothing to do with business really, but it has everything to do with business because I remember before we were doing this fighting. And gosh, you guys, fighting is very time consuming. It's exhausting. It's time consuming. It drains your mental energy. It drains your spiritual energy. When you're not on as a leader, you're not going to be able to scale your business. And you're not going to be able to be on if one of the most important relationships in your life is not going well. So I would say that that's the best investment in your business is investing in your marriage. So start there. And then thing two, start offloading the things that don't bring you joy. So maybe house cleaning. House cleaning does not bring me any kind of joy or satisfaction.
Hello.
So that can go, and taking that off the plate is something that I think really does matter. And then after that, just the things that really are not required to be done by you. So I have had seasons of having a VA, not having a VA, and then kind of back and forth and trying to fine tune. I know I've talked about this before, trying to fine tune okay, well, what can you really hire someone to do? And what is you that you can't hire someone to be you, So totally. For me, I really like writing the captions for my Instagram posts. I like doing the photography and that kind of stuff because that's my brand. That's who I am. Now, things like, offloading certain messages or scheduling things or figuring out however you can automate tedious tasks. that, go for it all day long. But if it can't be done better by someone else, you might have to keep doing it because that's you. That's what you bring to the table.
No, I love that. And I love what you said, like even where it's the things that don't bring you joy, right? And like, especially for like us as women, wives, moms,
Yeah.
it's like there's this, like this weird, like societal pressure of like, that we've got to do all the things and do them well and not fart and show them that it's easy and that our poop smells like flowers and we are just, you know, like everything is amazing. And so, you know, we keep this perfect house and our business is amazing and our branding is perfect and like all this stuff. And what I find is really interesting is like, you know, like we have a regular house cleaner and people are like, oh, well, like you, like some people, like even, you know, like people in my family, like they don't, like their total calling is to like be moms and like to, like they just love the house, you know, like love the home. And for me, I've always known that I wanted to be a mom and like be a mom and an author. I know I'm called to be a voice, and it's this and beautiful tension of the way that I was, of the truth that lives in the tension of how I was uniquely made and the dreams and desires that are on my heart. And so it's like, for me, like I would much rather like create platforms that lift up women like you, or, you know, speak at events, or, you know, work with other women through these other things, or do ministry stuff over like being really great at laundry and cleaning my toilets. And that, you know, like, and it's okay to be able to choose like the thing that fills your cup up so that you can be a better mom, a better wife, a better friend, a better,
You're right. Like, and both are okay. So like, if you're listening to this and you're not a business owner and that's not where God's called you right now, and that's not important to you, then that's okay. You know, like I talk about this with my team all the time. If for some magical reason, all of the finances that your family would ever need to create peace and security, not to be rich and who cares, but like to create peace and security for your family, just fell from the sky and you had that all and you did not have to do this anymore, like don't you know, don't do this unless you want to, unless it's on your heart and you want to. So I feel like there's definitely, people are in different seasons and different chapters and different places, and if right now what serves your family the best and brings you the most joy is cleaning the toilets and doing the laundry, that's a holy calling. And like, God bless you in that. Like, that is so important. And if for you right now, like you're in a season and place in your family where you can offload that and you have a calling to do something different, that's amazing. Neither is better or worse. And I think that's where we get in trouble as women, is that you have on the one side, the happy homemaker who wants to shame the business owner for not being a happy homemaker. And then you have the business owner who wants to make the happy homemaker feel like she's not doing enough. And it's like, that's not it. That's not what God created us for, is to look over at someone else's household and decide that how they're doing it is wrong. You know, how you're doing it, if you're doing it with the fruits of the Spirit and you're loving on your people and you feel at peace with, you know, when you lay your head at night, how you're doing it is working for you, and God bless you in that, you know. But you should never feel not enough or too much in either of those places. And I love what you're saying about that, because I do think that there is this, have you ever felt this way? Like, it's totally okay if your husband is on their phone working, but like if you are, then like it's not the same.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever had that?
Oh, for sure.
And like, I think that that's so unfair. but yeah, all that's another conversation, right? The gender roles conversation and how that works. But you just have to figure out how that dynamic is going to serve your family best.
So good. I love that. And I love what you said, like that it gets to be both, and we get to be the one that decides, okay, like this is the season where I'm diving into this, or this is the season where I'm diving into that. And I'm going to honor, like I love this, like that we get to honor like the spaces where we are allowed to fully show up in like in all of the ways that we are, right? Like in our too much, like, right. Like if you are like too much, like, right. Like too much of like this certain thing, like find the places where you can show up as that. And if you are too much over here, like find the places where you can show up as that. And it's not right or wrong. It just is. And we get to be the ones that choose how that looks and how that works for our life and for our family and for our businesses. And I just love that. So I actually want to have a little conversation here. So obviously being in network marketing, there's different stereotypes. There's a lot of rejection that, like I know, cause I built a 6-figure business years ago in network marketing and had to get over a lot of different hurdles that I experienced of talking with people. And I grew a ton, and I think it's a really great industry, but I wanted to just talk about this theme of not necessarily especially for women in business. And I feel like this is applicable for every industry, but really being able to stand firm in what you're doing and not have to apologize and not have to convince people that what you're doing, that they should buy your product or your service or your thing, right? This is what I'm doing and I love it. And I'm not here to convince you of anything. Yeah. So let's just I'm going to have you just unpack that topic and that theme for these women that are listening.
That's a huge one.
Yeah.
Way to go. Great question. That was a very high level question. So that is it right there. That is the tension, is being confident in what you're doing without having to beg, borrow, steal, and manipulate people into wanting to do it with you. And I think a lot of that for sure has to do with identity and you feeling really good about you first, because if you don't feel good about you, you could be doing the coolest thing on the planet and it doesn't matter because you don't feel good about you. So figuring out how to own you and who you are is going to make all of sales, and I do sales, and it's okay to do sales. We've talked about this before. Sales is okay. There's a lot of people.
Yes, we're all in sales.
Almost everyone on the planet's in sales, even moms, selling your kids going to bed, selling broccoli at the dinner table. Everybody's in sales. So I do sales. You probably do too if you're listening. And so sales really, I think, comes from you feeling confident, because if you're uncomfortable, you're going to make whoever you're talking to uncomfortable. And it doesn't matter if you feel really good about the product, you feel really good about the service. If you don't feel good about you, the other person's going to be like, oh. So I think really owning what you do and who you are first obviously matters. Second, to own what you do, you got to know it well. And I think that that's really hard for people. When they first come into network marketing, there isn't a degree. You don't get a degree. There's no certification. There's no licensing. It's generally very inexpensive. There's a very low barrier to entry there, which I think is really cool. I'm totally uneducated. I have no college degree whatsoever. I'm usually the least educated person in the room, and that's okay with me. It worked out just fine. So that's all right. But there isn't this training period before you go on the floor and you start in network marketing. You just start, which love it. But that's why I think you get a lot of people who've created maybe stigmas in the industry, or you get kind of a bad rap, is that a lot of people don't know what they're doing and they just go out there and they're winging it and they're doing their best and it's cute. It's ignorance on fire, and there's that saying, ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. And that's kind of true, but that can't get you as far as you want to go. You're going to have to figure out what you're doing. So I think really educating yourself, learning, diving into reading about the industry in general, figuring out which leader in your team. And I guess this could go for any industry, right? Being an expert in your industry matters. Finding a leader that's gone before you, and we call it an upline in network marketing, but it could be anybody. If you're a hairdresser, finding a hairdresser that you really respect and getting that mentorship and learning from somebody what it is that they've done to be successful, and really honoring them and being coachable, that will serve you so much. So one of the reasons I think I'm able to be very confident in an industry that is awkward is because I know the industry and I know how we get paid. I understand how our compensation plan works. I get the distribution model, and I think it's genius. And so I feel really good about explaining it to someone, because I'm not stumbling over my words, because I've spent the time at 11:30 p.m. when my kids were asleep reading and understanding it and listening to videos and learning and really feeling good about it. Same thing with your product. So, I mean, if you could translate this, if we want to continue on with the hairstylist analogy, understanding your color, how does it work? Understanding your product as a network marketer, really knowing it and feeling confident in the product is going to help you go for miles. And then I think too, rejection isn't personal. So like, yes, knowing yourself, loving yourself, knowing your industry and feeling confident, knowing your product and feeling confident there, but then understanding that if it's not right for the person you're talking to, that really has very little to do with you. That's
Totally.
not about you at all. It's about them and about this isn't right for them. There's nothing on the planet that's going to be right for everyone, and that's okay. God made us all uniquely individual, and if it's not right for them, maybe it's not right for this season for them. Maybe it's never going to be right for them, and that's all right. But I think that to eliminate the awkwardness on both sides. So I think we make it weird when someone says no to us and we take it personally, because we don't set someone up for having a real relationship with us. Being able to say no is part of a real relationship. If somebody can't say no to you and you can't stay friends, then that's weird as heck. Like that's very manipulative.
It's very unhealthy relationship.
It's not okay. And then it's also not okay, right, if like I can't ask you a question in a relationship. So it goes both ways. So if I have a business and I ask you a question about my business and we're friends, that should be okay. And then it should be okay for you to say, no, thanks, I'm not interested. And so really owning that and that relationship comes from seeing all the people in your world as people that you have a relationship with and not dollar signs that you're trying to accumulate. And I think that you've got to really remind yourself, because it's so fun to win in business. It's so fun to see numbers go up. It's so fun to get your biggest paycheck ever. It's so much fun. But only you are in that space. Only you get to see the back end of your office and how the needle is moving and the numbers and the dollars. And only you understand that behind that is this heart to help and serve and this heart to help bless your family and bless other families. All they're seeing is what's happening on the outside and the way you're interacting with them. And if you're making it feel like it's a game to win, they're going to feel that. And so really constantly reminding yourself, and that tension between success and winning and how fun that is, and humbling yourself and going, okay, I'm really just serving this person in front of me. This is not about me. This is not about the game behind the scenes. This is about loving and connecting with this person and keeping the relationship. And I guess the last thing that I would throw on the back end of this very long answer to your question is that we've done a lot of damage in this industry where we start a relationship with someone and then our product, service, or business isn't right for them, and then we stop the relationship. And that's so unacceptable. If you thought someone was worthy of starting a relationship, gosh, obviously we have a bandwidth. We can't be best friends with everyone on the planet because we only have so much time, but continuing with the intention to follow through with that relationship, there's nothing yuckier than someone reaching out to you, you saying no thanks, and you never hear from them again. Like, that's so weird. And we got to stop doing that in our industry. And I think that keeps the purity of the whole thing, so that your heart doesn't feel that weirdness and burden when you are talking to someone. It's like a which came first, the chicken or the egg, Totally. We create the problem, so then the problem makes it hard for us, and then we're pushing through this weirdness. Just keep your heart really pure, and it won't be tough for you.
So good and so applicable to, I feel like, every industry, every business, even what you're saying, like the ignorance on fire, I even think of, you could be like really amazing at like putting together balloons and all of a sudden you're in this business, and it's like all you want to like, network marketing, you like love this product and all of a sudden you're in this business. Like there's just is a learning curve to any and all of it, and it can be messy. So give yourself grace, give your biz BFFs as they're chatting with you and, sharing their new product or service or the thing that they're up to. Like, I just feel like we could just, like be supportive even in the messy middle, and it will all be great.
Totally. And supporting someone else always comes back. Like, even if it's not through this person, but being the kind of person that loves on people in the early stages of their business or in the middle tough plateaus of their business, like it'll be you one day. And so remembering that is obviously really important.
For sure. So good. Well, so many nuggets of wisdom, Erica. Thank you so much for your time. I'm sure people are going to want to dive into your world and following you. And you guys, she just always like, her kids are beautiful, like her chickens are the cutest. And then she also provides really, really incredible value, not just for network marketers, but even for women in business in general. So Erica, where can people find you, follow you, reach out to you, all that fun stuff?
Well, if you're local in Idaho, Charity throws these amazing events. She's built this platform. I'm so grateful for you for building this platform, but she has amazing events the second Wednesday of every month, Boise Business and Bubbly. I will be there. I'm speaking at the next one, which is going to be so much fun. She also throws these beautiful conferences for believers or people exploring their faith, just women who are trying to discover the more that God has for them in their life, called Meant for More. I'll be speaking at the next one. Amazing. So check out Charity's page because I'm going to be at all of her events. And then you can find me at the Erica Ulrich. You know, how narcissistic is the Erica Ulrich? I'm going to tell you that there's someone on this internet who is regular, just Erica Ulrich, and I don't even think they're using their Instagram. It kills me. I check it periodically, and I'm like, can I pay you for that? Can we trade?
Right.
But
I love my name.
You guys, Erica Ulrich. So you can find me there, and let's chat.
Love it. So fun. Well, thank you so much for your time. I just always love our conversations. You are not only a gem, but a wealth of wisdom and just such a, like, one of the biggest cheerleaders and supporters for women in general and for healthy family. And I just love our growing friendship. And thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, girl. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. So much for listening to the show. I hope it brought some value and some fun into your business and life. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and even share the episode with a fellow business bestie who you know will love it. It helps us continue to attract top-level guests and reach more and more women who are on their journey in business just like you. Remember that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. Cheers to your success.